Welcome to the Sam the Answer Man podcast. For 30 years, Sam Ventola has been an attorney, hearing officer, professor, and mediator. Now he's here to answer your legal questions. Sam the Answer Man, law made simple. Here's your hosts, Sam and Gina Ventola.
Hey everybody, I'm Gina.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to the Sam the Answer Man podcast, the podcast where listeners and viewers like you get to ask Sam, our answer man, legal questions.
And if you have any legal questions that you'd like to see in a future edition of Sam the Answer Man, send us a message on Facebook or email, and we'll be happy to address questions in future installments of Sam the Answer Man.
Most definitely. So Sam, what do you want to talk about today?
Well, we've been talking a lot about different kinds of mediation that come up, and been seeing a lot of things that are true for most kinds of mediation. But it's kind of, I don't know, I've been thinking about the fact that not all mediation is the same, and there's a particular kind of mediation that violates a lot of the rules of what we talked about before in mediation, and that's employment mediation. So when we talk about employment mediation, we're talking about a situation where either employee has a claim against the employer, or the employer has a problem with the employee, or two employees have problems with each other. And employment mediation is different than other kinds of mediation in that we're not necessarily looking at a situation where the parties are splitting ways. In fact, most industries have a lot of investment in their employees, both in times and in terms of money. Losing an employee and having to train somebody else and recruit somebody else and is expensive and is going to be a disruption to your business in many cases. And so there's an interest of the parties that you don't have in an accident case or a contract dispute. There's an interest of the parties in order to try to find a way to go forward and together. And for that reason, you have to focus a bit more than you do in other types of mediation on what happened in the past. But it's still a kind of mediation where you're trying to look forward and to say, okay, regardless of what happened in the past, we need to find a way to go forward, and we need to set forth a way of going forward that's going to be satisfactory to everybody, and everybody feels like their interest has been satisfied. And it's tough to do sometimes.
Now, is there a specific term that's used for this type of mediation versus other types?
Sometimes they call it transformative mediation as opposed to issue mediation, in the sense that one of the purposes of the mediation is to try to have the parties, sort of have a change of mind and be willing to look at things, look at the employment relationship differently than they did before. And that's not just the employee, but also the employer. Is there a way that the employer can adjust expectations, can be more accepting of certain things if there's a way that you can make them not destructive of the business. So they call that transformative mediation.
So with that being said, could you also call it something like hug it out type mediation?
I guess you could. Frankly, and different mediators have different styles. And for me, even in this kind of mediation, it's still not that emotional in my judgment. It's more, can we find a way to value each other and to work together in the future rather than a kumbaya session. Although, maybe if hugging it out is going to help, then that's what should be done.
So with that being said, what should business owners do? You're the mediator, trying to minimize discord in the workplace. What can business owners do?
So the first thing is to try to find a way to get past things that have happened in the past, or to deal with the situation where you don't know what happened in the past. And this comes up with sexual harassment cases. An employee may say, this other employee sexually harassed me, and that needs to stop, and maybe I want them fired. And the problem is that both employees are valued employees, and business may not want to do that. And the other problem is they may, even though an investigation is done, they may not know what happened. I mean, we're in that situation a lot where there's still doubt about what happened. There's a way to resolve the case if the parties are willing that doesn't require you to make a determination about what happened in the past. You could say, these things have been alleged and they are against our policies and they are not acceptable. And anything like this that happens is a violation of this employee's rights and cannot be tolerated. And so regardless of whether they happened in the past, we are telling you they will not happen in the future. And if these things are found to happen in the future, then we're going to have to let you go and put the employee who is accused on notice that those things are not acceptable. And if that employee says, well, I never did it in the first place, and you say, good, then that's not going to be a problem for you, is it? That these things are going to be regarded as unacceptable. And hopefully the employee who claims to be harassed will be satisfied with that. Now, sometimes, you have problems and it's something you have to work through in the sense that employees are going to say, I need a determination that this actually happened and I need an apology and I need vindication. You have to find a way to show the employees that the way that we can move forward may not involve that, but it will instead involve an assurance that that will not be tolerated in the future.
So for business owners, let's say they do need to hire a mediator to resolve this dispute. What are some things they should look for when hiring a mediator for this type of mediation?
So you definitely want somebody who's experienced in all facets of employment law. An employment dispute may involve discrimination, it may involve contract issues, it may involve possible common law claims that exist, such as wrongful discharge in violation of public policy. Employment law is very, very complex, and you should have a mediator who is familiar with that law. And you want one who is not spent their full career, which almost all attorneys or mediators have when they were attorneys, spent their full career on one side or the other. Employment law is sort of, for most people, a sort of us against them thing. And people, there are people mostly in large law firms who represent employers, and there are people mostly in small law firms who represent employees, and they have separate organizations, professional organizations, and they don't like each other. But there are, myself included, some attorneys who actually work on both sides of the case, and that would give somebody the perspective in order to, see the possible claims that are being made by both sides.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I do think that it's important to consider mediation early and often. In other words, whenever there's a dispute, and let's take the example of the employee. The employee says, oh, this employer wronged me, I'm going to quit, and then I'm going to file a constructive discharge claim, claiming that I was fired, and I'm going to go to a lawyer, and try to get the lawyer to represent me. And they go to a lawyer, and the lawyer says, oh yeah, I'll represent you, and you pay me some money, and I'll go file all this. I mean, that is not a good way to go. At least not initially, your employment is something that probably has value to you. And to throw that away on the possibility of having a claim is almost always a mistake. It's much more likely that you can go to that employer and say, look, here's a situation here it's getting to the breaking point, but I still value my service to this company. I still value our relationship. I need to find a way to go forward and suggest mediation, or suggest a mediator or other investigator to investigate the claims that are made. Is almost always a better way of going than just going to a litigation attorney and saying, let's burn the house down. And then on the employer side, the same thing is like, you may have an employee who says, I have a claim, and you may even get a demand letter or something from an attorney, or they may file a discrimination charge. Again, consider whether it's possible to step back and say, we still value you here at this company, and we don't intend for you to leave. And can we find a way to resolve this without litigation, which would be better for everybody. So I would say that in both sides to keep open to litigation. Now, if you get to the point where the employment relationship is irretrievably broken, and that happens a lot, it's like, I'm sorry, we cannot work with this person anymore. And that definitely happens. You still should consider mediation in order to resolve the claim that the employee has that they were wrongfully terminated. And so that again is something where, rather than going to an attorney who's going to say, oh, I'm going to defend you, I'm going to file all these motions, I'm going to get you out of this, pay you a bunch of money, you may or may not get out of it that way. It's better to try to resolve it from the get-go.
Well, there you have it. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
That was very helpful information. So business owners, if you're interested in having us mediate your dispute, you can contact us at ventolamediation.com. You can reach out to Sam at sam@ventolamediation.com. You can reach out to us at Facebook and Twitter and Instagram.
And if you're an employee and you think that you have a dispute with your employer and you want to consider mediation, and you think your employer would agree to it, you can also contact us.
Yes.
To try to see if we can work with your employer and resolve your dispute to the benefit of everybody.
Because the great thing is Sam is considered a neutral. So he's not for anybody and he's not against anybody. That's what makes him perfect to resolve disputes. You're like Switzerland.
Yes.
So if you like our podcast, please if this is a snippet, catch the full version at youtube.com or the audio podcast at itunes.com. We're on iTunes and Spotify. We are all over the place. And so until next time.
Thank you.
If you would like to discuss your legal issue with Sam, please contact Ventola Law at 303-864-9797 or check out our website at www.ventolalaw.com. Ventola Law, mediation and legal representation at an expert level.